It's the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in. Tune in.
The next thing I'd love to talk to you about is, we talked about, again, pre-approval, location, research. Take us to the closing table. So, what was the closing process like? Were there any obstacles? Did you have a super delayed closing? Like, talk to us about what that process was like before you got to finally just sign and proceed with everything.
Sure. My closing was pushed back 3 times. Was supposed to be, I believe the first one was in November. We ended up closing in the end of January 2021. And there was a lot of little things that needed to be ironed out. And they weren't on me, but they were part of our contract, the contract that I had with the seller. I had a list of we had agreed on a few things, and he had to install a fence in the backyard with a permit. He had to clear the backyard of all the vegetation. There was like weeds that were like 9 feet high.
Wow.
To clear out. Yeah. There was the basement had to be clean, removing all the mold out down there. There was ivy growing on the side of the building, so he got rid of that. And any open, this is super important, any open permits or violations, they had to be resolved. So within coming to closing, the last month, the month prior, the seller was working on all those items, and some of them didn't get done. Mm-hmm. And I'll get to it later, but I have to work through them but I was compensated for that, which was great. So getting to the closing table was just making sure I didn't actually have a final number for my closing. It kept going up and down. At first I think it was like 14. Then the next week it was 16,000. Then at one point I read something that said 19,000. I was like, that's how. So I don't really understand it completely, but it was my loan broker basically saying that these are what's like, it's calculated I don't really understand. So it just kept changing. It also kept changing on the things that he wanted to compensate me for. So, and then there was utilities that he had to pay the final bill on, and that changed the number again. So it was just the month before was just a waiting game, and me just tapping my foot, saying like waiting for the day we get like the okay, like this is the day.
Yeah.
And we finally got it. So I thought closing was, I don't know why, I had this whole idea of what closing looked like.
30 days, roses, no problems.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, some like big office table and like leather seats and all this stuff.
Lights and cameras and the news reporters.
Yeah. But we're in COVID time, so it was not like that. The seller wasn't even there. I thought that the closing location was going to be somewhere in New York, like the Hudson Valley, New York, or maybe even the city. It wound up being way out in Long Island, at a place that just specializes in or just handles closings, which I didn't know existed. So so the day of, I woke up and I was super nervous, and I had to get a cashier's check, and I think that morning I found out what my closing costs were going to be. Big, I think it was like very close to that day, I found out what they were exactly going to be, and they were significantly lower. They're like 10,000 and change. So I got the cashier's check, and just went out there. And we got into a conference room. It was me, my lawyer, my loan broker, my mom, and the person doing the closing. And she just had a big stack of papers, and is just huge. And she walked me through every single thing.
Yeah.
And my lawyer was there, which I never done this. So I didn't know that my lawyer had to be right there seeing everything and looking. So at first I was just signing everything. And then she was like, wait. And then, she would look at she would read it, look at it. And then I was like, oh, okay, sign.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then, I asked questions like, what is this? Like, what, like they would say terms I didn't understand. And I would just be like, what does that mean? And, everybody was just really just happy to be like, thank you for asking that. And here it is in really simple terms. So it was really unintimidating and it was really, really liberating.
That's awesome. How long did it take you to close? How long did your closing process end up being?
We signed our contract at the end of September 2020. I think maybe like the last few days of 2020, and then we ended. We closed in January, end of January. So what is that? October, November, December, like
about 4 months.
4 months. Yeah, 4 months.
Got it. And the reason I wanted you to specifically say that is because, you're a first-time investor, and it seemed like everything that could go wrong to extend the timeline did go wrong. Now, what was it that told you to keep going? Like, why did you keep going? Why didn't you just give up and say, you know what, maybe I should just get another property with a smoother process, with less issues? Why did you keep going?
It's my goal. It's my dream. I'm not going to quit on a goal or a dream. It could have taken a year. That's what I wanted. Everything lined up for it. And if it took a little longer, okay, that's it. Then there's something to learn in those moments. But there was no way I was going to give up on that goal, because I knew once I had that, there were other things I could do. There were other opportunities that would be opened up for me. So don't quit, just keep going. It wasn't even a thought to quit. It wasn't even a thought to give it up, because I know it brings me to the next level.
I love it. And I really want people to take that in. There are things that are going to go wrong. Even in my own closing process, a lot of things went wrong, and it was very nerve-wracking. It was very scary. But to your point, this is just part of the process. It may not all go smoothly, but in the end, if you stick it through, you will have the result you want, which is a property. So I think it's a great thing that you did that, because if you didn't, we probably wouldn't be sitting here today. And so, talk to us about that feeling once you finish signing all the papers and the property is yours. How did that feel?
Man, and it felt great. I called up my brother to tell him. It was good. It was just felt like when I was little, I always wanted this, and to actually see, like to have it, was just like nice. Like it felt good in my soul. It felt good. Like I'm doing it. It made me feel like I'm doing the right thing. You're laying that foundation brick by brick by brick, and don't stop. Like, yes, this is great. That's a great. Like it felt great. And like, I took the night to just chill and really be like, yeah, like all that hard work really paid off. And it just felt, it's just magical. To have a goal and have a dream and meet it. And then also be like, right after or in that process, be like, keep going. Because then right when I got that first one, I know that whatever I do, whatever goal, whatever dream, whatever I want to do, I can do it. And that's all I needed. I'm unstoppable now.
I love it. I have a post that I put up sometime that says something to the effect of, one property can change your life. All it takes is one. It all starts with one, right?
Hi everyone, Sam here from the Black Real Estate Dialogue. Make sure to hit that notification bell and that subscribe button and to visit us at blackrealestatedialogue.com.